Welcome to Dukascopy TV. The media has many faces and it's constantly changing. To give us an insight into what's going on in the future is Dr. Rebekah Jorgensen. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
So tell me whether brands need to reinvent themselves to be relevant.
I think brands need to examine if they're really delivering what's going to be in the best interest, whether they're a commercial brand or whether they're trying to sell a service like a charity or something like that. And I think that a lot of brands are missing. If your brand is working for you, well, then the common sense thing is don't fix it if it isn't broken. However, there are better ways of capturing brands that various groups are moving towards, and it's good to re-examine and think along the lines of whether your brand is succeeding.
What makes a successful brand?
What we're finding is that the trends are very much, and a lot of this has to do with the new marketing towards both millennials and towards the aging generation as well, is that we're moving away from a focus on technology for the sake of technology. A good story has always been the key to it, and finding the story that makes your brand unique, whether it's fiction or truth, is going to be one of the keys. Can you tell me a story that I want to listen to? Because I only have about 3 million other stories I could hear. So that's the first thing, is getting away from the idea that technology is what sells and finding a story. The second thing is that we put a lot of pride into our social media platforms and building those areas, but the reality is that if you don't connect with me on a human level, if I don't feel that connection, I'm not going to be so interested in your product usually. So video is still dominant, but there's other ways of also selling your brand, which includes that face-to-face communication, things that make people remember you, and it's important not to forget those in your campaigns.
And what are some effective trends in media campaigns?
One of the things is to make the media brand campaigns local, even if they're being designed globally, to make them feel like whoever's seen them locally has some kind of ownership in them. At the same time, not losing the idea that you're part of a bigger picture as well. The new generations like to feel like they're independent, but not segregated in a way that I think that's very powerful. The second thing is that humor. We all can use humor in our lives, and those people who can have a sense of humor or lightness so it's fun and interesting to be engaged will be more successful in general, depending on their product.
Of course. And finally, tell me, how can brands get the best out of their products?
I think a lot of brands have a habit of jumping on the bandwagon. Okay, everyone is using this social media platform or this social medium, so we should do it too because that makes it cool. That's called the roadshow syndrome. And the best thing is to really see what is the best vehicle. It may not be actually going through the social media. It may be creating local community events that pull people together, because ultimately those are more memorable. And what you're looking for is for people to remember your brand.
Thank you so much for coming in to explain this today.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to do so.
Well, that's all we have time for today. Be clever with your brand is what we've learned. Goodbye.